And they've come out with a real banger this time called Why the LGBT Movement is Failing. Shall we? Shall we get into it? All right, let's go.
The movement's failing? Oh, God.
Some carry hate. We carry the largest trans pride flag to ever be flown in a national park and unfurled it on the side of El Cap to prove a point that trans is natural.
Please, tell me what's natural about having to wear a wig and tons of eye makeup to try and get people to treat you like a woman.
The Trump administration and trans folks.
Oh, don't worry. Trans women can experience misogyny just like normal women without any makeup. That's not necessary. There is also something very funny about making fun of like masculinity and femininity when you are a man that barely fits your standard of masculine. And you literally sound like this.
Would love to have you believe that being trans is unnatural, but species that can transition sexes can be found on every continent and in every ocean on planet Earth.
That had to be the most disingenuous analogy that I've ever heard. Show me a human male that's become female spontaneously.
The purpose of the analogy was not to say that people can do that, but to say that this is a thing that happens in the rest of the world in different ways.
Without spending like $100,000 in the operating room. Well,
Jesus Christ!
Even the surgeries don't change their biology. And just because certain animals can do things doesn't mean that humans can do those things. Some animals aren't sexually dimorphic, and the females are just as strong as the males.
It's actually quite in times the opposite, where the females are larger in size than the males.
Source, he made it the fuck up. Are there animals that the female animal is larger than the male animal? Yeah, but often? I don't know. And I know he doesn't know. And also, like, not relevant in the discussion at all, even a little bit.
Here in America, that's also the case, but in most normal countries, it's not.
Humans, though, doesn't mean that humans can do those things. Some animals aren't
The person at the beginning was bringing up that in nature, sex is not so clearly defined because sex is not, in fact, male or female. That it's not binary, it's bimodal, where a lot of people will fall into male and a lot of people will fall into female. And then there's people that don't sort of fit into either of these categories. Like, that person is bringing up the fact that these things are natural and you can't call them unnatural when they exist in the world in all these other ways. Something that would be unnatural would be like transhumanism in the cyberpunk way. That would be, I think, maybe, I don't even know if you can call that because I don't know if there's any recorded history of animals using things as prosthetics ever. Like, these are not super difficult. Like, this person is using this analogy to talk about the fact that you can't call this thing unnatural because it exists in the world naturally. It's a bizarre statement to make.
Sexually dimorphic, and the females are just as strong as the males.
It's actually quite in times the opposite, where the females are larger in size than the males. Here in America, that's also the case, but in most normal countries, it's not.
Oh, you guys get it? Because women are fat. Do you get it? Do you get it? The women are fat. Do you get the joke? I know it was really highbrow, but did you get the joke? Because the women are... It's like, dude, the dudes are fatter, okay? I don't know what to tell you. You can just look at the median waist size. The dudes are still taller and fatter and larger. We just have an obesity crisis in the United States.
Humans, though. There are a lot of differences between the sexes. I mean, I don't think I've seen an analogy this bad since the croissant analogy.
If trans women aren't women, then is this big croissant not a croissant? Of course it's a croissant. It's made out of butter and dough just like any other croissant.
Right, a big croissant.
So it's made out of butter and dough, but what if somebody's made out of certain chromosomes?
The chromosome argument is always my favorite because we literally have species that have watched the Y chromosome disappear and yet males still appear. The idea that the chromosomes are the only telltale sign of male or female is objectively incorrect. The basic biology, people, when you have to have them explain biology.
I feel like this is an argument that defeats itself.
What are you talking about? You don't make any sense at all. You make zero sense. What biases are you talking about? I'm assuming you meant to write species. If you look up, is the Y chromosome disappearing? Which it's a really interesting conversation because the very short version, the very layman short version of it is just that like the Y chromosome is harder to pair because the other chromosomes can pair easily because they're shaped like this, but the Y can't because it's shaped like, I don't know how I would do it with my hands, like a Y. So it's not symmetric. So it's harder to pair, and it's been shrinking, I believe, is what scientists believe, or sorry, have noted. And realistically, it probably won't happen within the next, I don't know, 100 million years. But there is a conversation about like how do males continue to exist if the Y chromosome were to shrink? And they actually found these rats where some of the rats didn't have Y chromosomes, but the rats were still being born male. So there's some other function that is causing male sexual reproductive organs to occur, and it's actually not the Y chromosome. Maybe it's a function of something in the Y chromosome that can still activate outside of the Y chromosome. It's like the SRY gene. Might be mistaken on the acronym there. But anyways, yeah. Sexually viable offspring, yes. Again, you can look this up. It's like, this is so... I feel like this is the very basics of like curiosity about these things, that if you're genuinely interested in biology and about sex and about intersex people or trans people or what any of these things look like, you should just be curious enough to look this stuff up yourself and be curious enough to be interested in it yourself. And when you look at it, you're like, wait, okay, so the chromosomes aren't even necessary. Theoretically, the chromosomes aren't even the necessary function. And when you pretend to do the grandstanding that you are the biology professional, and then you don't even know the basics, and you're listing off something that most people wouldn't list off as being the important sexual marker, it's very bizarre. It's just like, it seems kind of silly. Where is the evidence that this has ever happened to humans? Can you point me to the exact rat study you're talking about? The conversation began in the first place because the Y chromosome can't pair as easily as X chromosomes can, which I already said, unless you weren't listening. And there is a concern that with humans, the Y chromosome would disappear altogether. Well, what would happen if that happened? Would we fail to have males? And so research began in this topic where they were actually able to find a species where this did happen. So the entire conversation is centered around humankind, just like most modern science and medicine is centered on how it can benefit us.
Who the hell is Denims?
Am I not speaking in layman terms? Is anyone moderating this chat? I'm just gonna move on. I've explained it 3 times. I don't understand what's confusing about what I said, but okay.
Like, how do you never even think, like, what?
Croissant and a small croissant are...
Humans have always been known to have XX and XY only. Sorry, not only is this factually not true, like it's literally factually not true. You can live a very healthy life and produce offspring and not have XX or XY. This has been true for ages. Like, that's like, second, that doesn't change the fact that the Y chromosome is shrinking. Okay, we're moving on for real this time. We're moving, like, literally just like look it up on Google. You will find information on it.
Are still both croissants. Except that's not what's happening here. You're not a big croissant saying that you're a small one. You're a taco saying, I identify as a pastry.
So before I demolish this delicious and very valid pastry, repeat after me. Big croissants don't affect me in the slightest.
Yeah, that's not the case. In fact,
Jesus.
That's exactly everyone's problem and why people have so much energy against trans activism. We were all just out here minding our own business, and then a bunch of activists started inserting themselves into everything and saying, you have to treat us how we demand you treat us, or you lose your job. This sort of extortionist behavior is why people are mad.
I love how they twist it. They're pulling the Jordan Peterson on that one bill in Canada. They're really twisting it as hard as they can. The only thing that the policies that have been changed say, the only amendments that have been made is someone is very clearly presenting as a woman. Their identification says that they're a woman. You shouldn't discriminate against them in the same way that you don't discriminate against, or you shouldn't discriminate against cis women, and the same way that you shouldn't discriminate against people of color and everything. Like, that's it.
Mad at the LGBT crowd.
I'm actually non-binary and use they them pronouns.
I think that's a good assumption, or a good assertion. I think he's right by that. Yeah, true.
I'm sorry, what did he say? What is the good assertion?
Or you lose your
the demand you treat it. Make some shit up. Yeah, that's true.
job.
I'm actually non-binary and use they them pronouns.
I think that's a good assumption, or a good assertion. I think he's right by that. Yeah, true. Do they even understand how words work? Look at all those Pokemon. What do you think?
I definitely could see
Coming from someone who's not a Pokemon head, I just didn't get into Pokemon. I got into PC gaming, so I never had a Nintendo or really any consoles. I don't get the Pokemon friendly fire. There's probably people in his audience that play Pokemon. Is Pokemon woke? Did I not? I don't know. I missed it. Do you keep your VODs, by the way? It appears that not always. I keep any VODs. I try to save the VODs that I think might be important in the future because Twitch auto deletes them after 60 days. But the VODs are by default not published. And then I publish them after the stream. The only reason to not publish them is when there's stuff that's DMCA-able or there's sensitive information or whatever. And then those VODs don't get uploaded. But almost every single VOD is up there.
that. In the best way possible, you look like you'd be non-binary. Slay, they. You realize that isn't a compliment, right?
I guarantee you that when people say that, 99% of the time,
They're just trying to be nice.
it's not meant to be a compliment.
Well,
and that's
no, they're just trying to.
Unstoppable force meets immovable object. Let's see. Let's see what happens here. The think before you sleep guy. The guy was like,
They're not trying to be nice.
that guy's saying that they're saying you look non-binary as an insult. And now Asmongold's saying, no, they're saying it as a compliment. So let's see what happens. Let's see the intellectual juggernauts meeting head to head on this topic.
To be nice. You look like a they. That's okay. Like, I mean, like, I don't know. I feel like it's all about intent. And I feel like a lot of the problems that these people have is that they're constantly walking around with a cross and they're just eagerly waiting for somebody to nail them up. They want somebody to nail them up.
because as soon as you see the wacky hair color and the nose
Kind of sex freaky a little bit. What the hell?
ring, oh wait, this person actually doesn't have a nose ring. Shocking.
It's just
But when
not in
regular
right then.
people see the wacky outfits, they know they're about to deal with a very difficult or annoying person or a narcissist.
See, that's the real reality. Is it's not even about a person's sexuality. It's the people. I think this is what's happened. I think that a lot of people.
This is really just like the enemy is both strong and weak. I'll let you guys know. I've had a woke of the day friend before. I've had one. Problem is that the woke of the days, they tend to get caught up in the wrong things. And then the things that matter, they care a little bit less about in a way that frustrates me. And I like to have fun. And sometimes I don't jive the best with people who are, dare I say, wokes of the day. Like, I don't know if you guys have run into these people, but the people who use like therapy speak for everything. I had a friend in my life, ex-friend now. And me and my other friends are having a heated argument. And I go in, okay? If you're willing to go in with me, like, I will fight you to the death in arguments. Please, I'm not skilled physically, okay? I lift weights, I pick the heavy thing up and I put it down, but it's all glamour muscles for me, okay? After squat today, I kind of like stopped working out for a little bit, took a little break. I'm back in the grind. We're squatting 85 pounds. Not kilograms, not yet. 85 pounds today. Wish me luck that I can do it just fine. But anyways, I only work out so I can squat beautiful women. So I'm having this conversation, I'm having this argument with a friend. I'm like, you're a fucking idiot. Like, no. And they're going in on me and I'm going in on them. And we're really duking it out. And afterwards, my woke scold friend told me that they were uncomfortable with the relationship that I had with the other friend because it seemed abusive. And I was like, no, we're cool. No, like we're chill. We're cool. Like we're cool, dude. Like you can go ask them. Like her and I are totally, I mean, as far as I know, we're cool. Have you spoken to her? And she said something else? Well, no. So what's the problem? I wasn't even saying it to you. I know the type of, I have different friends for different reasons, for different purposes. You got different friends for different things, right? I don't understand. Well, I just didn't appreciate watching that. And I'm like, talk to this friend later. I'm like, did you feel like I was bullying you or whatever? Because I felt fine. They were like, what? Shut the fuck up. You're such a dumb bitch. And I was like, okay, that's what I thought. Okay, I thought we had this relationship. I was, okay. All right. Just making sure we're on the same page here really quickly. All right. The other problem is, too, that I have with some people is like it's the same problem I have with liberals, right? Where like, I've had liberal friends and they'll be like, I'll make a joke and be like, oh, dude, what? You love your wife? What are you, gay? Fucking look at this dude. He loves his wife like a gay person. You know, doing a little teasing, obviously not in a homophobic way, in a positive way, actually, that it's sweet that, you know, These people love each other.
Libyers, actually, you can't say that Libyers.
And then I'm told, like, you shouldn't say gay that way. And I'm like, what? Bro, you're straight. Like, you're literally straight. I'm literally not. I don't understand why you're telling me. What the fuck? Later, tell them, like, well, who did you vote for? What were the props you voted for? And they're like, oh, well, I voted for the pro-slavery prop because it's good for people in prison to have something to do. It's like, where are your priorities? Like, genuinely, where are your priorities? What is happening here? Like, genuinely. TLDR, there's like a group of people that I've never been able to become really good friends with them because they have misaligned priorities, and I think they're more concerned with tone policing than they are actually good politics. What prop was that? It was in Prop 14. I don't remember the exact number. It was in California in the same ballot that had the presidential election on it, the 2024 one. So, and it literally said, like, the question was like, are you pro-slavery? Like, it was very clear. And then it explicitly states, like, are you for the prison labor to be used for corporations at like pennies, like literally pennies for the hour? It was not a tricky question. It was a very straightforward fucking question. And I would talk to these people and they're like, well, it's good for them to have something to do. It's like, yeah, if they're getting paid for it, what the fuck? Why shouldn't they get paid minimum wage? Just like at the bare minimum, Moving on. I forgot why I got on this tangent.
The people, see, that's the real reality.
Oh yeah, I remember. So like, there are definitely very like tone policey people that might call themselves leftist, but they kind of really are liberals. And those people are definitely very annoying and narcissistic. But it's bizarre to me to be like Asmongold or like this like
Thank you for your sleep.
guy and be like, clearly anyone who's non-binary is a huge narcissist. Like, I don't even know that you know any non-binary people to even be making a claim like that. What?
It's not even about a person's sexuality. It's the people. I think this is what's happened. I think that a lot of people have gotten involved with these different things because they are narcissistic and they have personality disorders and they need to have some kind of like self-aggrandizement. I think that's what's been happening.
I mean,
Source, I made it the fuck up.
and there are just so many examples of people with narcissistic personality disorder being gassed up by every major corporation for identifying as LGBT. And everyone hates stuff like this. From Today USA, women want to be her, men want to be with her. Dylan Mulvaney, the true definition of beauty and grace.
Do they think that like advertising someone in a positive light means that the person is narcissistic? What were they supposed to say? I hate this fucking bitch. Dylan Mulvaney, everybody. Like, what other headline are they supposed to have? I don't know. Let's listen. Let's hear what this reasonable headline change should be.
Bro, Dylan Mulvaney doesn't even want to be Dylan Mulvaney. So this is exactly what I'm talking about. Now, I'm sure there are plenty of trans people out there who just...
Why would you?
I don't understand what that means. Dylan Mulvaney doesn't want to be Dylan Mulvaney? Who knows?
Did you say that? It's so weird. Why would you even do that?
want to mind their own business and go on with their lives. In fact, the right to be able to...
Because right. Sometimes the transphobia is so deep that it like doesn't make any sense. Like I saw a tweet the other day that did the same thing where it's like the transphobia is so bizarre. I don't even understand. I don't know if transphobia successfully failed. I saw this. Hopefully it's not been deleted. I want to show you all. This one, yeah, is a tweet that says, woman is when makeup and filters and penis. That's so true. Can any women teach me more about what this looks like? Parentheses. I'm a visual learner, by the way. And this person said, freak. The correct answer is freak. Any real woman can confirm that you have reached peak freak with that look, and apparently on a really low budget. Someone else responded saying, as a real woman, as you like to say, dead domain is fine. I think they look good and I think they can pull it off. If it's not for you, look away and move on. It's not that deep. And then they responded saying, thanks for playing, perv. And then posted a screenshot of a funky frog bait video. I love when TERFs and dipshits post references to things that are only known in their groups. Like, what am I looking at here? What is this random YouTube app screen cap? What does it mean? Incomprehensible gibberish to anyone that isn't terminally pudding-brained. Like, I don't know what this means. Like, I couldn't tell you. I couldn't tell you. Sometimes the transphobia is so crazy that it's just, it loses its ability to make sense.
mind their own business was originally what the LGBT movement was pushing for.
Yeah.
And I think that's an idea that most Americans these days would have no problem supporting.
They do. It's not that they don't have a problem supporting it. They already do support it. They're fine with it.
However,
it's so weird.
I have to hear that again.
Why
I'm
would
so
you
confused.
even do that?
want to mind their own business and go on with their lives. In fact, the right to be able to mind their own business was originally what the LGBT movement was pushing for.
Yeah.
And I think that's an idea that most Americans these days would have no problem supporting.
They do. It's not that they don't have a problem supporting it. They already do support it. They're fine with it.
Did we not recently revoke trans people's ability to change their gender on their passport? Didn't we just do this? Oh, okay. I'm just going to pretend like that's not happening. All right.
However, the activists, not the normie LGBT people, I'm specifically talking about the activist part of this community, constantly display the most self-centered and entitled behavior. And it's not transphobic or bigoted to point out when someone's being a self-absorbed asshole. Let's go back to...
Fucking exactly. Who is this guy? Who is this? Fucking finally. Yes, true.
that image. Women want to be her. Yeah, except for all the women who are pissed off at Dylan's woman face behavior. And
I love the...
I'm not a transphobe, and I'm cool with trans people existing. Also, look at Dylan Mulvaney's woman face. I'm definitely not a transphobe.
You can't pretend to not be transphobic and then immediately be transphobic. Well, it's okay, because I can be transphobic to the ones I don't like. No, that's not how that works. What? Oh, thank you to whoever it was who linked this translegislation.com 2025 anti-trans bills tracker. In 2025, anti-trans bills continue to be introduced across the country. We track legislation that seeks to block trans people from receiving basic health care, education, legal recognition, and the right to publicly exist. And there have been 910 bills in 49 states, and 103 of them have passed. And that's not even talking about... Oh, here it is. Yeah. National anti-trans bill. We're tracking 49 national bills in the United States in 2025. Really good website.
in fact, people were so mad at Dylan that Anheuser-Busch almost had to give up the Bud Light brand.
Jesus.
Men want to be with her.
$400 million?
No, they don't. Straight men don't.
How is this an example of Dylan Mulvaney being narcissistic? If you're trans, you can't take sponsor deals? Genuinely, what is the argument? Like, well, we don't mind trans people. We only dislike trans people when they're being annoying and they're making it their whole personality or whatever. And then a trans person takes on a very lucrative Bud Light deal and it's their fault for being narcissistic? Like, none of this even makes any sense at all. It's just people got mad at it. I don't understand.
Don't. The second they find out you're trans, you're going to get ghosted.
This video is for straight men and straight men only. I'm sorry, but how in the world could you not like me? Yes, I'm a trans woman.
You're using a filter. I can tell you're using a filter.
Okay.
Like, what is so different about dating me than a cis woman?
The fact that you have a penis. That's the difference. And people don't want that. It's pretty simple. It's the same reason.
Why did we bring up the filter thing? Who knows? That was just a random side comment, I guess. Okay. That one wasn't going anywhere. That was just a random comment that he wanted to make. Let's continue.
Like a guy'd want to date a girl with big boobs or something. It's a sexual preference. It's really just that simple. It's really not that, like, I mean, I don't even know, like, what, like, it, yeah. I mean, I don't even get this.
She can do everything that she can.
Except have children. Did you notice the narcissist?
There are cis women who can't have children. Huh? Are they not cis because they can't have children? Like, what is this argument? This is the most pathetic attempt at an argument you could make, dude. Oh my God.
Narcissistic, I'm so great behavior. That's why people don't like you. The guy I was on a date with just found out that I was trans. Why is he just finding out on the date? Why wasn't this disclosed on the dating app? I mean, they were definitely using a dating app.
Oh man, I love this guy. Oh my God, I've never seen anything. I'm gonna subscribe. I'm gonna subscribe right now. This is, oh my God. Give me a minute. I gotta pull this up because I said this the other day. I said this, like, this is thing, right? And so, like, if I pull this up, this is what I said about Creator Clash. I said, as a general rule, if providing someone with certain information would make them less likely to make a purchase or make a decision, withholding that information is unethical. Also, the absence of information is the same as a lie because in both cases, the intent is malicious. And that's what it is.
You're presupposing the reason that it hasn't been given is for malicious reasons. You're presupposing that the reason that someone wouldn't disclose information is because they are trying to be malicious. And that's not necessarily always the case. Was it the case there? I don't think so. But even if it was, you're presupposing that idea that it has to be for a malicious reason.
These are people that are actively trying to deceive you, and then they guilt you into being angry for being deceived. The intent is to deceive. You are.
I like the idea that if you match a Tinder date or like match with someone on Tinder or go on a date because your first messages are like, we should grab a coffee. Yeah, let's go. And you tell them during the date that you're trans and then they leave, that's you deceiving them. And instead, trans women should lead every single conversation with, by the way, I'm trans. That should be your first Tinder message to anyone you want to match with.
Participating in a malicious action.
Photos can be edited and the voice chat wasn't used. Why is it so hard to date straight men when you're just a normal trans girl who makes content for the internet? Well, there you go. Stop catfishing people and maybe you'll find someone who
Stop catfishing people. Exactly. Yes. It's like if I was a girl and I dated a guy, I was going out on a date with a guy and he said he was 6'5" and he was actually 6'1", I would probably not want to date him. That would be a really big red flag because he's a liar. Why would you lie about that? Yeah, you're just lying. I mean, at the end of the day, you're lying. Like, what are you doing?
actually likes you. I mean, it's crazy.
It's so insane to talk about this in the context that he's talking about it, as if like there aren't tens of thousands of dating coaches that constantly say, yeah, you need to get your foot in the door.
How many trans people think it's perfectly fine to start a relationship out by lying by omission?
What do you even really disclose? What is there to disclose? There's no deception.
Excuse me, sorry.
When you're dating someone, you don't have to disclose every single thing about yourself up front. That's the fun of it. You get to learn.
Well, there are certain things that you do disclose, right? That it's like kind of, it makes sense that you disclose. Like, for example, people should disclose whether they're in a relationship currently, whether they've had kids before, whether they have STDs. Let me think. Besides that, there's maybe a couple of other things too. Their age. Yeah, their age. They should disclose their age. And so there's a lot of examples of these things. And it's like it's again, these are people that try to like reinvent the rules for life because the rules are not in their favor or they're not working out in their favor. But the world isn't going to reinvent itself because you want to. That's not the way the world works. It's never how
someone new.
Considering that the status...
I think I actually I think I might go outside too much to understand this conversation. Because I don't see anything wrong with disclosing this information on a first date.
I was really interested in dating you. However, you lied to me by not telling me you were using a dead rat as an alarm clock. No, I don't want to look at your tooth blood wall. That doesn't make it any better.
Like, I genuinely... Maybe the problem is that I like people a lot, and I like hanging out with people, and I like having fun and meeting new people. And if I went on a date with someone and then they told me information that made me not wanting to date them, that made me not want to date them anymore, I wouldn't like be mad. I'd be like, oh, we're just different people. Or like, oh, we just want different things. Well, it was really nice to meet you. It was really nice to have fun. I thought that's what, like, I thought first dates were literally for disclosing that stuff. Does it not? Maybe I'm not internet brained enough. It feels bizarre to like start typing essays at the person you match with on Tinder. Be like, just so you know, I have a dead rat alarm clock. I like it when roaches climb on me. I am clinically insane. Also, yeah, Denims, remember, this is why the LGBT movement is failing. The LGBT movement is failing because straight dudes don't know how to react when they get on a date, go to a date with someone, a first date, and get coffee, and then their date is like, yeah, I'm trans. That's why the LGBT movement is failing.
Of your sexuality is a big deal for a relationship. That definitely should be disclosed before you even go on a date. Though in this case, I actually wouldn't worry because I don't think anyone's being fooled by you.
He shows off his...
Some more transphobia? Okay. Just because why not?
Results of facial feminization surgery. What is your reaction? Again, just reading the tweets. Don't get mad at me. Let's take a look at this. Bro, I'm going to keep it a bug. You got to go back and ask for a refund. Like, this was not a complete job. This is just incomplete homework.
Though, to be honest, some trans people are more feminine than others, and it's harder for normies to tell. So in the case where someone is intentionally tricked and any form of sexual contact happens that they would otherwise not consent to, I think...
Fucking exactly.
Pain.
Listen to this again.
Trans people are more feminine than others, and it's harder for normies to tell. So in the case where someone is
Which, by the way, we can always tell, and also, we always get tricked.
Intentionally tricked and any form of sexual contact happens.
Tricking people into sexual contact.
from the people who can always tell.
Good or bad? Jeez, guys. Ooh, that's a tough one.
Happens that they would otherwise not consent.
So like if you had a micro penis and you went on a date with a woman and you guys had a wonderful date, you're both laughing, having a great time, the food was impeccable, the vibes were amazing, and you go to her place and then she sees you have a micro penis. She's allowed to say that you tricked her? Well, I didn't know that that was going to be there. Why would you trick me? The other problem, by the way, is like, what an insane reaction. Like, this is truly like, it's crazy that they, in the very beginning of the video, they're talking about how like non-cis people are constantly carrying around a cross to crucify themselves on. And in this context, you're being tricked because somebody wanted to have sex with you. And then what? You find out they have genitals you don't like and aren't interested in. And you're like, my life is so difficult. Can you fucking believe this? Just say you're not interested. I don't understand. Like this level of self-persecution over nothing. Like, and the most bizarre thing too is like, this is not even something that happens because most trans women, for their safety, disclose it always on the first date at the latest. For their fucking safety, because the trans panic defense is a real fucking defense that people have used on why they've murdered their sexual partners that were trans. For their personal safety. Like, it shows a very obvious lack of like communicating with any trans people ever, talking about the community from the outside. Because again, if you actually spoke to any trans people ever, you would know that they always disclose this information for their safety.
To?
Yep.
I think that should be considered sexual assault. These people are all about consent, right?
Yeah.
Well, you can't consent if you don't understand the terms of the deal. And
it's so disappointing that people...
But the thing is, consent can be withdrawn at any point, which shows that you don't understand consent. If you're interested in a sexual encounter with someone and something happens or you are informed of something that makes you change your mind about the sexual encounter, you can revoke your consent at any time because that's how consent works. If you don't understand this concept, it is more of a self-report than it is anything else. Denims, I have an idea. What is it, Mike? Also, hi, Mike.
I've noticed this a lot, is that I think that people fully understand consent and they actively...
We have to talk later? Okay, I'm down.
Or it when it's inconvenient for themselves.
Oh, sorry. I didn't realize you had a dick until it was in my mouth. And that's like, you just shut the fuck up. Like, literally, shut the fuck up.
Hi, Denny DNM Love.
Oh my God. I think every time Asmon meets a woman, he needs to immediately disclose the cockroach count in his house, knowing the normal reaction to this is not disclosing, knowing the normal reaction to this, not disclosing it is lying by his logic, lying by omission. Yeah. I mean, it's just bizarre. It's just so bizarre. It's not only is this just not a problem that is occurring, because again, trans women, for their safety, every single trans woman I've ever spoken to in my life discloses this at the latest on the first date. So not only is this not even a problem, more importantly, this is what's causing the LGBT movement to fail. That you went on a date with a woman and then you found out she was a trans woman and you stopped being interested. Like, talk about victim complex. Holy shit, dude.
I think that every guy and every woman, trans or not, understands exactly what's going on here, and they're just ignoring it because they can.
Trying to trick someone into consenting to something they otherwise would not consent to if they had full knowledge of the terms, then that is very much the mentality of a rapist. You aren't fooling anyone. Everyone knows that you aren't disclosing this information right away for a reason. And really, the best...
Yeah, exactly.
Way
the ego is crazy.
To continue to take power away from these people so they can't threaten us anymore is to just start calling stuff what it is.
He's completely right about this too. I totally agree with him. I think the best way to do this is to just be direct, honest, and upfront about it, rather than try to use euphemisms and platitudes and say that these people are actively sexually they're basically active sexual predators. If you are not disclosing you being trans because you think that somebody will make a decision based on that, you are preying on them sexually.
God, the victimization is so insane, dude. Denims, play this out. You go on a date with a guy who ends up being a trans man and you didn't find out till things started heating up. I'm the wrong person to ask about this. Not to be too vulgar, but like, you know, like but let's pretend for a second I only like penis. I would just be like, oh, I'm sorry. I didn't know that you were trans. I don't know that I'm interested in this. It's not anything to do with you, obviously. I'm just not attracted to this, and I'm just not sexually attracted to this. I'm really sorry. Like, maybe this is my fault. I'm not really comfortable anymore. Because you can revoke consent at any time. At any time, in any sexual encounter, at any point. Like, just, you can revoke consent and say you're not interested. For any reason. This is honestly an issue. Crazy you dismiss it because it doesn't fit your narrative. You just started following, so I'll repeat what I've been saying for the past 10 minutes. First of all, it's not an issue. And if you knew trans women, you would know this is not an issue because most trans women, for their safety, disclose themselves being trans on the latest at the first date because they don't want to be murdered because the trans panic defense is a real thing. And if you knew trans women, you would know, here we go, I'll pull it up for you. You would know that they care about their safety and they have a reason to be concerned about their safety. Gay/trans panic defense bans. The so-called gay and trans panic defenses are legal strategies which, according to the American Bar Association, seek to partially or completely excuse crimes such as murder and assault on the grounds that the victim's sexual orientation or gender identity is to blame for the defendant's violent reaction. Research by the Williams Institute shows that no state recognizes gay and trans panic defense as freestanding defenses under their respective penal codes, but defendants have used it in conjunction with other defense strategies to attempt to reduce the severity of the charges or sentencing. These defenses are based in irrational fear and prejudice towards LGBTQ people. They imply that violence against LGBTQ people is acceptable, understandable under certain conditions. American Bar Association issued a unanimous resolution in 2013 calling on federal, tribal, state, and local territorial governments to prohibit the use of this defense, but many states still permit this practice as shown below in the map. All of these states that are this army green are states that prohibit the legal defense claiming the victim's sexual orientation and or gender identity contributed to the defendant's action, so-called gay/trans panic defense. And here are the states, the ones that are in this pale yellow, are the states that do not prohibit. Let me turn off the dark reader so that the colors actually can come through correctly. There we go. State does not prohibit the use of legal defenses claiming the victim's sexual orientation and or gender identity. To translate, it has happened, unfortunately, many times that predominantly cis men have murdered their sexual partners or their soon-to-be sexual partners for being trans or being gay. And it has been argued in courts in defense of these people that, well, listen, the reason that the defendant got so violent that they killed or assaulted this trans person was because they didn't know they were trans. And then they found out they were trans and they killed them. What are you going to say about it? That's just how it is. This is something that has happened. This is something that absolutely has happened. And this is why, again, if you speak to trans women, you'll know they disclose they're being trans at the latest on the first date because they don't want to end up murdered. And I just explained, if this happened to me, if I was a straight guy and this happened to me, I would just say, I'm sorry, I'm not interested. I thought something different. I thought you were cis. I'm not interested. I can call you an Uber or whatever, but I'm not interested. And because consent can be removed or you can withdraw consent at any time during a sexual encounter, you're allowed to do that. I legitimately take into account the concern of women and trans people. I've been called a transphobe in the club for turning down interest. So, are you transphobic? If you don't think you're transphobic and you don't act in a transphobic way, who cares what someone else is going to call you? Other people are going to call you. People call me a whore and a slut every day. Can you imagine if I was offended, if my ego was so bruised so easily at being called a prude or a whore or a slut? Oh my God, I would be doing nothing but crying all day. Big deal, whoopee, who cares? My ego is not that fragile. I really don't give a shit. Okay. Would you say that a man tricked a woman into sex if he made her think he was rich and only found out he was broke after sleeping with him? No, I would say that if you're going for a transactional relationship, you should do your research better. That's just thinking smart.
That is what you are doing. That does not mean that all trans people are sexual predators, but if you are active...
Asmongold, being friends with sex pest Tectone and pretending to care about sexual predators.
Fortunately true, Rylan. My cousin's a trans woman and everything Denim said is 100% factual. I mean, it's also what happened to just putting yourself in someone's shoes? Just think about it for 1 second. You're a trans woman. I transed you. Congrats. Would you, A, not disclose until you're right about to have sex and this person might be surprised by you having a penis and then might murder you? Or would you, B, tell them on the first date? You go and get coffee and you're like, I just need you to know I'm packing. And it's probably bigger than yours. And I need you to be okay with that emotionally. It's so obviously intuitive how you would act in that situation. Dude, they should say it before the first date. Yes, I would like everyone that I'm ever going to go on a date with to text me, hey, just so you know, I am trans, and just so you know, I let roaches crawl all over me, and just so you know, my ceiling fell out, and also just so you know, I use a dead rat as an alarm clock, and just so you know, like, well, you know what I think, Sally, fourth show? I think you should be disclosing your penis size, because you're misinforming people, and maybe they weren't going to have sex with you if they knew what your dick size was going to be. Dude, you should say it before the first date. Can you imagine, like, you go on a date with someone who's like a secret ginger, and they're like, their hair is like darker, but the carpet doesn't match the drape. And then you're like about to have sex, and then you're like, dude, what the fuck? You didn't tell me it was orange. Get the fuck out of my house, you rapist. Like, whoa, that's crazy, dude. That's crazy. I don't think it's so unreasonable to say that trans people should disclose it, and do disclose it at the first date. I don't think you have to fucking text everyone all of your personal information immediately. I don't think that that's such a crazy statement, especially coming from the we can always tell crowd. Also, trans people usually have their flag on their profiles on dating apps. So I don't know. The other thing too is like the few times I've used dating apps, it'll be like a photo. It'll be like a photo of them. Like the very first photo of them is like them right next to a big trans flag. And then in the bio, it'll be like edited, be like, sorry, I had to add this text in. I'm trans, by the way. It's like, who is matching? And like, ooh, I like that flag. It's pretty. Like, what is happening? What's going on? Like, what is going on in this world? What am I'm losing my mind. Oh.
Not disclosing that to somebody because you're worried they're going to tell you no. You are taking advantage of them, and that's manipulation. Should never happen. It's disgusting. It's disgusting behavior. Deceit is the issue. Yes, it's deceit. The behavior is predatory. Yes, it is.
Small penis isn't something that is a choice. To become trans is not a good comparison. Why all the bad bitches got that pink and blue flag in bio? You know, the women from here are so pretty. What is this country? And it's a trans flag. I don't know what to tell you, dude. Like, we already went through this with gay people about like how being gay isn't a choice. I'm just going to cut to the chase here and tell you, same thing with being trans.
It's predatory behavior because you're trying to...
You don't have to believe me. I'm just telling you. It's just true. I don't... It also doesn't make any logical sense for it to be anything other than true.
Convince a person to do something that they would not normally do. It is beneficial for you.
Bullying that trans activists have been doing can completely be defeated if we just stick to reality.
True.
Which brings us to a trans TikTok influencer who goes by Lily Tino. Well, this person has already been brought up, but...
Dude, this woman makes people so mad.
Now I have a bigger point to make. If you haven't seen any of the content, this type of stuff is what Tino is famous for.
The bottom is from Thailand.
Coconut bread from Thailand.
Yes, sir.
Cool. Ma'am.
Yeah, ma'am. Sorry, my bad. And
Did I just hear that right?
Thailand.
Yes, sir.
Cool. Ma'am.
Yeah, ma'am. Sorry, my bad.
I thought I did. Oh my God.
And the middle one is from India.
Thank you. It just like totally sucks the joy out of this bread tower. Makes me want to immediately like leave. Because I no longer feel like safe here. It's like, oh, my guard now has to be up. I'm not going to...
I'm amazed by the amount of racists and transphobes that come onto the stream and argue these dumbass talking. But, well, listen, I try to be a little nice because it's like, maybe they've just never thought about the other position. Like, maybe genuinely it's like never crossed their mind. I mean, is this just rage bait content from this woman? I'm pretty sure some of the content that she makes is rage bait. I'm pretty sure some of it absolutely is rage bait. Well, maybe it's not. I don't know. I don't know enough. I know that she does like food vlogging and stuff, and it just happens so often that she records it and posts it. I think at this point she records and posts it because she knows it makes people so mad, but I don't think originally when she was posting it, she was trying to rage bait. I think she was just trying to share her story with other trans people.
Enjoy this bread as much because my card is up. We should be able to go places.
Hey, thanks for 5 subs. I appreciate it.
And not have to worry. I don't think I really want this bread tower, actually. I think I'd rather have a check.
Did anyone catch what went wrong here? I actually had to watch this multiple times, so let's do a quick repeat.
Coconut bread from Thailand.
I think the big issue that a lot of people have with this is the fact that a lot of people, like this waiter, is just trying to do their best. They're not really, I mean, this is like, the issue is like this constant fixation on taking what these interactions are and then interpreting them in the worst possible way, and then treating people as if that interpretation...
Why do transphobes get extra mad when a trans person isn't trying to pass? I mean, for the same reason that they get mad when, like, women don't present in exactly the way that they want them to present. Like all the people that get mad that women get septum piercings, what do you think they're getting mad about? It's like, wait, but you're not pandering to me in this exact moment and it's making me upset. People get mad over that. I know, that's what I'm saying. I wish I wasn't so lazy because I would do so many things specifically to unattract certain people, certain groups of people. But I'm literally just so lazy. I would be like covered in tattoos if it didn't take a fuckload of time to get tattoos and to commit to a tattoo and like a design enough to get it tattooed. Because there's so many freaks that are like, women should be pure. They shouldn't have any tattoos. How dare you destroy your body? It's like, how do I never get you people to talk to me ever again? I never want you to speak to me. If you have that opinion, I never want to speak to you. If you think, oh, I prefer when someone doesn't have tattoos. I don't think there's anything wrong with tattoos. I'm not a big tattoo person. That's fine with me. I don't care. Yeah, you can have whatever preferences you want. You're not required to have any particular preference. But when it's like this weird purity culture thing where it's like, how could you destroy your pure body? It's like, ew, ew, what the hell? And then the problem with piercings for me, I have 2 ear piercings here and I've had them my whole life. And as you can tell, I am never wearing earrings ever. The reason that I don't have any piercings other than these 2 that I got when I was a teenager is because 1, I'm too lazy to go get the piercing. And 2, I'm never gonna wear anything. I'm never gonna put any jewelry on. I'm gonna get it pierced and then be like, well, now what? I don't feel like buying jewelry and taking care of it. I can barely do my skincare. Like, fuck, dude. I'm way too lazy to do this shit. Why not? Because then I'm not joking. This is kind of sad and pathetic. Because I'm like, okay, well, I could go out, go shopping, get some fun, like accessories, do this. Or I could stay home and play some video games. And then I always pick video games. The only thing that makes it so that I'm not a total loser is I have a strict trying to never say no to hanging out rule. That if someone reaches out to me and is like, hey, do you want to hang out? I have a strict policy of never saying no. At the very least, trying to never say no. And I only cancel if I really, 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 really have to. Because otherwise I would just never leave my house and then I'd get really depressed. Which is not a good play. Not good. I don't want to hang out. I need to play the Susu clip.
Is what their intent was. And I think that's exhausting. It's very exhausting.
Yes, sir.
Cool. Ma'am.
Yeah, ma'am. Sorry, my bad.
So Tino is mad because the waiter said sir. Well, it's kind of hard to call you a ma'am when you look like a sir. And Tino knows that people will make this mistake, which is why tons of misgendering videos are on Tino's channel.
I just want to tell you that the person who gave me this called me sir. What? Called me sir.
Oh my god.
I guess I just don't understand what's wrong with sharing these videos.
Holy fuck, man. Just stop. Stop trying to make this... these people are just trying to do their job. They're waiters. These are like fast food employees. And you're trying to lecture them about this stuff and get free food or something? This is so weird. In my opinion, there is no content that's lower than the intentional harassment or haranguing.
But they're not even... Wait, what? Okay, first of all, this is not a fast food place. Second, she's not even recording these people. She's just recording herself and saying, hey, by the way, you called me sir. I'm not a sir. Just need you to know that. I just don't understand.
Of service workers. I find this to be the lowest form of content. And it's actually one of the reasons why I don't go out in public and do live streams in public. Because I know that, if I go to a Wendy's, for example, this is what happened. I went to a Wendy's, people found out the Wendy's I was at, and they started calling the store. And I'm like, okay, this is some woman who's working here, and her life is fucking awful. She's working at Wendy's. She's 40 years old, probably has 3 kids, and she's getting phone calls, and they're asking, is Baldy there? It's outrageous.
My audience is crazy. Feel owned yet? I've never had this problem. There's a lot of other content creators with large audiences that don't have this problem. How is it Denims ever streams for a restaurant? I will call and ask if Baldy is there. The fuck up.
It's it's so outrageous and it's so disrespectful. And I know it's not even my fault, but I'm still the causal factor that is making these things occur, right? And it's fun. It is funny. But the problem is that it's funny the first time and they get 50 calls. That's the issue. I think if it was just one time, they'd be like, haha, yeah, it's funny. And then maybe I'll give them like $20, right? It's like, sorry about the inconvenience, right? But like that's it.
Sorry, this chatter. True, Asmon. LOL, true. No shit, you have no viewers. Okay, first of all, you're here, aren't you? You're value-tained, are you not? You've been here since April 18th. You've been here for over a month, and yet you keep on coming back. And I know it's not because you're waiting for Asmongold to go live, because he's already live. So, you can cope. You can deny, but you are value-tained, okay? You are value-tained. If you weren't value-tained, you wouldn't be here. It's simply the truth. Just as I can say, when I've watched Ethan Klein, I've been value-tained. I have been. And I can tell you, there are people I don't like, and I try and watch their content, and I'm like, wow, this is really boring. Like, actually, this is obscene levels of boring. All right, Jesus. I am not value-tained. I don't like this. I'm just going to leave. And there are other people where I can dislike them as people, and I'm like, dude, I am value-tained. I am. And you are value-tained. That's why you're here. That's the truth. That is the truth. But more importantly, too, yeah, you can compare Asmongold to other content creators that are large. Hassan doesn't have this problem. Hassan livestream all the time, and the store doesn't have tens or hundreds of people calling, asking for the guy with the tiny head.
And it's people can never get over this.
It's just like, it kind of just hurts a lot to get called sir.
You trying to get free food?
I'm not sir.
Nothing like a good misgendering. It is a knife in the gut when I get called sir. It hurts more.
Asmon going to Kick. Welcome to the Kick family, Asmongold. Good for him. Fork found in kitchen. In other news. Sorry, I keep pulling your chatter up, your chat message up, sorry. All right. Let's continue. We're only 17 minutes in. This chatter says, I'm a cis woman that looks pretty masculine. Even when wearing feminine clothes, I still get called sir by waiters all the time. It's nothing wrong. There's nothing wrong with correcting people. I don't have to change anything about myself to fix that. And this is why, like, people say that transphobia hurts women too. There was the Walmart worker who recently got fired after using the women's bathroom despite being cis, but she was like 6'4". She was an Amazonian woman, and they fired her because it made the company look bad that she was getting harassed for being in the bathroom. I think you guys, do people remember this story? Walmart fires 6'4" cisgender woman threatened by man who thought she was trans. Around 8 p.m. on March 14th, she wrote that she was alone in a stall in the women's restroom when she heard a man yelling. The voice was much louder than someone simply yelling in front of the door. From the door. This man was fully in the bathroom yelling about yelling something about transgender women, Davis wrote. Davis being the cisgender 6'4" woman. Davis then said the man yelled that he was going to beat them and was going to protect his wife and girlfriend from them, while his wife or girlfriend was pleading with him to stop and leave before he got in trouble. Davis wrote, she was scared and she froze, not knowing if the man was going to physically attack her. I was the only one in there, so it seemed pretty clear that he saw me enter the restroom and assumed that I'm trans because of my height. It was terrifying, and I wish no one ever had an experience like that. The man eventually left, and Davis was able to leave the restroom and return to her workstation. My immediate supervisor came by and noticed that I was visibly shaken and emotional. After taking a few minutes to calm myself, I told her what had happened. I didn't go home since it was long until my shift was done, 10 p.m. Less than a week later, I was fired. The reason given for her termination was that she did not report the incident to a salaried management employee and therefore created a security risk. Transphobia hurts cis women too, because the we can always tell group can't always tell. We love seeing the please don't cause a fight couple at Walmart. Oh, this one as well. Lesbian teen brutally beaten unconscious and robbed at a McDonald's. 19-year-old Katie Grass traveled from her hometown of Delavan, Wisconsin, Carpentersville, Illinois, to visit her grandparents and see her 13-year-old cousin's May 13 choir concert. After the concert, she and her cousin visited a local McDonald's fast food restaurant, but when Grass tried to enter the women's restroom and found it occupied, two men at a table nearby called her an F-slur. Grass confronted the men, a black 19-year-old and a Latino 16-year-old, she said, and told them that she had no They had no right to call her that. When she confirmed that she was indeed a lesbian woman, one of the individuals hit her in the jaw and another attacked her from behind, and that's when she blacked out. She said her 13-year-old cousin watched, terrified and unsure what to do, as one of the attackers held grass down and the other kicked her in the face and stomped on her. You know, just like normal shit. Just normal stuff. And what are we complaining about right now? That you would go on a date with someone and then they tell you on the date that they're trans. I just feel like it's really fucked up that you didn't tell me that over Tinder. It's like really fucked up. Like you really violated my trust.
Or, and it's not intentional because it means like this is sir to him.
Yeah, it's such.
Yeah, people are going to think that. I mean, like, that's not, that's not that they don't hate you. That's just they're going to make their best guess.
A knife to the gut that you keep intentionally putting yourself in these situations and film them happening over and over.
Exactly, yeah.
Put yourself in these situations by what? Existing as a trans person and trying to get dinner somewhere?
I'm such a fucking victim. I can't. Oh my God, guys. How is this happening to me? How does this keep happening? I keep cutting myself.
For going outside.
Why are they making me do this? Stop it.
Again, even with the feigned politeness, everyone knows that you're doing this on purpose. And not just that, but Tino has openly talked about not actually caring about being called sir.
What?
Look, I don't need your approval to love my face. But honestly, keep these comments coming because they really don't bother me in the way that you think they bother me, and they boost engagement on my stuff, so keep at it.
A bunch of people saying sir.
So we have the mask off moment where it's actually not even, it's not even about this cause. It's about me cosplaying as one of the people that's part of this cause, making everybody else that's just trying to live their life privately and politely look like idiots. And I'm doing all this for internet attention, and you're boosting me in the algorithm, and that's the real... So this is...
Can there not be something functionally different from people on the internet being mean to you and people in real life being mean to you? Also, man, talking about saying extreme things in the algorithm to get boosted as Asmongold is like so insane.
So basically, you're cosplaying a trans person, trying to make them look bad, intentionally soliciting negative interactions. And who is this helping? Oh, that's right, you. And that's it. Certainly not trans people.
In the comments
Makes
is what's being
like
responded
assholes.
to. So now we know that Tino bullying people is completely about getting attention. But let's go back to that bread video for a second.
We're supposed to say friend or just not use gendered language. It's like a pretty big thing.
I'm not sure why you're defending this TikTok person. They're using transphobia for profit. I mean, if there's any group of people that should use transphobia for profit, shouldn't it be trans people? Let me just make that quick statement. But more importantly, the examples that they're using of this woman, are these not like things that happen in the real world? I mean, like they're presenting these videos in a vacuum. So I'm going to respond to it in a vacuum. Let's say that this woman wasn't this woman and it was just like a couple of clips of a woman who happened to upload the sections where she gets misgendered and she talks about how, hey, this is how to like deal with it or whatever. I deal with it. I know a lot of other trans women deal with it. I try to like just ask them to do this. I try to never like record the staff or anything, but yeah, that's what I want. You know, that's what I want to talk about here. Like, I don't think inherently that is wrong. It's rage bait that emboldens transphobia, like what Asmon is doing now. Yeah, but this person could not exist and this type of content could not exist at all, and transphobia would still exist. Like, I don't think that this woman is making a significant difference on the transphobia problem. I think that these people are using her as a way to justify their transphobia, which doesn't make it more valid.
That Disney has done. Nothing was wrong with bread. I just don't want it anymore. Just because they apologize doesn't mean she doesn't feel sad or offended. Yeah, exactly, right? Like, if you've accidentally ever hurt someone and say, I'm so sorry, it was an accident, do you expect them to be like, oh, it was an accident? Of course, no problem whatsoever. All of that hurt is now undone. It's not
well, part of it, yeah, actually. Yeah, because like the thing is that if somebody can't accept an apology, there's no reason to give them one. Like, why would it?
Oh my, I just took so much psychic damage from that statement. Please do not listen to this advice. Oh my God. This is the biggest self-report that he's ever had on his channel ever. It will never, ever, 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 ever matter whether or not someone is willing to accept your apology. And no one is ever you should not expect other people to accept your apology. You should give the apology because you feel bad for what you did. That is the only reason to give an apology. Denims was hit with mold for 50 HP. It's highly effective. That was Oh my God, the idea of an apology being transactional is so insane. If you drop a hammer on my foot and it breaks my toes, but apologize, it doesn't unbreak my toes to accept the apology. Yeah, that was like a breathtaking one. Oh my goodness, Jesus Christ. Please don't do that, chat. Please don't give apologies just in a transactional way. You should apologize if you feel bad and you now understand why what you said was something that was rude or impolite, or something you did was rude or impolite, and you want to communicate that to the other person. Can you run it back one more time?
All of that hurt is now undone. It's not how it, right? Like, if you've accidentally ever hurt someone and say, I'm so sorry, it was an accident, do you expect them to be like, oh, it was an accident? Of course, no problem whatsoever. All of that hurt is now undone. It's not how
Well, part of it, yeah, actually. Yeah, because like the thing is that if somebody can't accept an apology, there's no reason to give them one.
That's amazing. This is like the most baby brain thing I've ever seen in my life.
Like, why would anybody try to apologize to you and reason with you if you don't even want to be reasoned with, and an apology will just make you more mad?
When did she say that?
The intention, yeah, and the intention wasn't to hurt you. Like, absolutely that matters. I've had people that...
Yeah, it can matter, but like, it doesn't have to necessarily change how it made you feel in that moment. Like, if you went on a date with a woman and you guys are getting heated and you take out your dick and she's like, oh my God, it's so cute. And then you're visibly upset and she's like, I'm so sorry. Do you magically start feeling better? Her intention could have been positive. It could have been her trying to be nice. But in the moment, the apology doesn't remove the hurt that was caused. You can still feel hurt and be like, okay, I know you apologize and I'm supposed to feel better, but I don't really feel better yet, okay? It's just that the apology is the first step towards feeling better. This is a terrible analogy. What's wrong with it? What's wrong with this analogy? Please describe it to me in words. What's wrong with the analogy? Stop saying it's perfect and start saying it's big. Yeah. Just joined. What's going on? I just want to say I hate Asmongold. My best friend is trans, but there are trans women who hate this woman because she's done a lot of damage to the community. Oh yeah, I totally understand and I respect that. I just like, and within the queer community, I think that we can have discussions about what hurts and what helps our cause and what type of things we should engage in and what we shouldn't engage in. And I think that that's fair and reasonable. But like, if they're going to view her videos in a vacuum, I'm going to view her videos in a vacuum. And I'm going to say that what they're talking about, trans people correcting other people about their pronouns, is not something that's like wrong. That's fine. Like, you should be allowed to do that, right? If you think they'll tell me why it's a terrible analogy, I'm just going to assume that they're typing. I'm waiting for you. Peps XXXX.
That have done things that was negative to me, and then they apologize for it, and I'm
also,
like,
she didn't say that she wouldn't accept the apology. She just said that like the apology doesn't undo the hurt, which is correct. That is just factually correct. When someone does something that hurts your feelings or hurts you physically or whatever, like they drop something accidentally, it doesn't matter what your intentions are. The hurt was caused, and it takes time to get over that hurt. Citizen drummer, exactly. I love you. Thank you. It's like when racists try and speak on black issues. Thank you for saying that. Thank you. Thank you so much. It's like, hey, if people within the black community want to talk about, perfect example that racists love to use, fatherlessness. I'm not going to fucking walk. I'm not going to walk into the cookout and be like, just want you to know it's very problematic that you guys are talking about fatherlessness within the black community as black people. Like, I'm not going to do that. Like, no, hell no. That's a conversation that people within that community can talk about and can say, yeah, like we should have more focus on like the home or whatever. Like another really good one is like homophobia within the black community. I'm not going to be the one that opens that discussion. I'm not going to be the one that says we should really talk about the homophobia in the black community. Like, oh my God, like that is so, you would not be invited to the cookout, dog. I mean, let me only engage with this by saying, that's why I said roll up to the cookout. The implication there was that I would be showing up uninvited, which if you were trying to listen, you would have gotten that. Considering that in that moment I was playing a racist caricature of a person. Anywho, yeah, I mean, like, I think people within the community should be able to talk about these issues in the way that, like, people people who are Muslim or ex-Muslim talk about the problems in Islam all the time. But when what the fuck is his name? He's become so irrelevant. Sam something, not Cedar. It is Sam, isn't it? The really big, like, anti-Islam guy. Oh. Sam Harris. when Sam Harris talks about it, it's like, shut the fuck up, racist, dude. Like, you're such a, you literally, you don't criticize any other religion, and you don't criticize any other religious fundamentalists who have the same issues. You think Islam is this unique evil, and your examples are fucking pathetic. And they don't serve the point that you're, they don't prove the point you're trying to make, right? Moving on. Yeah, like, I just know that, like, if we were to watch content from a white content creator, from like the Think Before You Sleep guy being like,
as you can see, there's a really big problem in the homosexual, in the black community with homophobia.
I'm gonna be like, dude, shut the fuck up. Like, how about you go take a look at the fucking homophobia in the white community? Oh, I'm sorry. Are all white Americans super pro-gay all of a sudden? I don't think so, bitch. I think it's weird to insert yourself in these ways when you're, and then try and make value judgments on whether or not the movement is failing, because they're just not policing themselves well enough, so we should police them. So anyways, okay, moving on.
Oh, okay, I can see what you're saying. Yeah, I mean, I'm still, like, you can see why I was annoyed, but like, yeah, I get it. Okay, sure.
Sorry about what happened.
It's okay. I'd love to pay for the drink, please.
No, the drink is on me too, so...
You don't have... Are you sure?
Here we go. It's a Karen. It's an actual fucking Karen. Yep, actual Karen. Look at the stance and everything about it.
You're good, yeah.
Okay. Thank you
This
very
is
much.
totally
Now
Karen
you can see
behavior.
why Tino does this.
Yep.
Any narcissist would treat waiters like that
Trans inclusive misogyny.
if they got free food and
Oh, just kidding. Used it.
special treatment.
Exactly.
From it. You do understand they had to throw all that food out, right?
Yep.
However, I don't know if you guys caught this, but the waiter had an accent, meaning that English is not his first language, so he probably is not all that privy to the pronoun BS because it's esoteric speech. I mean, if there's any indication that he doesn't understand what's going on, it's that he immediately says sir again after being told to say ma'am. And the whole subtext of this is that this guy spends all this time learning English, and then Tino is out here threatening his livelihood over a minor mistake. That's why you got the free drink. It's because he's afraid of a sociopath.
That's another really good point. I'm glad he brought this up, because this is the other component to it that I think is also like really selfish, is that when you make videos like this and you put people on blast like this, you put their jobs at risk too. So you're taking a person who's ESL, or maybe not really completely like fully understanding of like your, you know, like your gender ideology, and you're putting their job at risk by bullying their manager or talking about this.
I like how in these videos, the service workers don't even show up, and yet we're like totally blasting all of these service workers.
This company or like this restaurant in a bad way.
Okay, can we move on from this TikToker? Can we get to the next person? I've already made the same argument 6,000 times. I'd like to get to the next.
It's scumbag shit? Yeah, it is. He said
person
sorry.
that we're going to be transphobic to, please.
Pat like you causing a scene and getting him fired, especially considering that this occurred at Disneyland. So you know that if the waiter stands up for himself, the company is not going to back him. So really this person is just making money off of bullying foreigners and using transgenderism as a shield after
Doing the comrades work out here, Deanbo, and it's very Abuela-coded. In fact, if you got the big frame glasses, you could complete the Abuela look. Now get these assholes and point out their maidenless behavior DNM balls DNM Abuela core. Mayor Catch, you can't call the DA on me for giving you oregano instead of catnip. You got a problem, bro.
Stop chatter. And I hate you people for mentioning what this pause frame looks like. Did you just ejaculate to transphobia? Shut the fuck up. I hate you people. I despise you fuckheads.
Oh, man.
Image.
for being abusive, because that's what this is. It's abuse. And abuse seems to be kind of a foundational strategy of trans activists. Tino has a lot of this type of content, as well as stuff that progressively gets creepier.
Made it into Disney World. I don't really know what the deal is with bathrooms. No, Florida is really conservative. I don't know what the rules are. Trans women are allowed to be in women's bathrooms, but I'm about to go and use the bathroom because I have.
You're on your phone. You could just look it up on your phone right now. You could look it up. You would find out this information within 3 seconds. But you don't care about the truth. You want to create a scene. You're trying to make a scene at Disney World. Oh boy, this is just what all the kids want to see. Someone coming.
Making a scene is recording a video, whispering into your phone saying, I don't know what the bathroom situation is, so I'm going to figure it out. This guy like watches vloggers. Asmongold watches vloggers talking about things and they're like, okay, I don't know what the policy is about like the bikinis or whatever, but we'll see. And he's like, you can look it up instead of making a scene. I don't know if they take card or cash here, but I don't know. We'll see. Because I don't have any cash on me. I only have card. But I don't know if this stand takes card or not. Oh, you guys don't take card. Asmongold be like, pause. You can look it up. Why don't you ask Grok, huh? It's like,
to make a scene about their complex gender ideology in front of a bunch of 7-year-olds.
Also, like, Florida is like a bad example for the argument Asmongold's going to make, because Florida and Disney have like butt heads on a number of progressive issues. So it might be the case that in Florida, or at the very least in like public buildings in Florida, trans women can't use the bathrooms there. But in like Disney, it's a private establishment, and Disney's pretty pro progressivism, or like a veneer of being progressive. So also, like, again, making a video of yourself is making a scene.
That's great.
To tinkle. If I get stopped, I get stopped, I guess. But I'm a woman, so I'm going to use the women's bathroom, and being in Florida or being in California or wherever isn't going to stop.
Okay.
For one, it's already cringe to be a Disney adult.
Yes, you guys are right. Disney's pro money. I'm saying they're pro money, but they enjoy the veneer of being like woke, of being progressive, in the way that like Raytheon will show up at the pride parades and they'll change their logo to being rainbow, and it's like, bitch, you're Raytheon. What the fuck? And BlackRock be like, we love the gays. Look, we made our logo. We made our Twitter logo rainbow. And then they just like discriminate against gay people anyway. It's like, all right, dude.
2, not only is there this fetishizing with trans people of lying about their status in the
Sorry, I wasn't
California
listening.
or wherever isn't going to stop.
Okay.
For one, it's already cringe to be a Disney adult. 2, not only is there this fetishizing with trans people of lying.
Okay, low-key, I do kind of agree, but I would die for Cutie. And also, I went to Disney once, and I actually had a lot of fun. Actually had a good amount of fun. I like the theory that Disney adults just really love Disney because it's the first experience they have with like a walkable city. And they're like, I suddenly feel good mentally. What the fuck is this? And I'm like, wait, they're actually
about their status in the hopes of tricking straight men. But there's also a fetishizing of using women's bathrooms. Here's a whole office of biological males filming in the women's bathroom. And I can't imagine how unnerving it must be for women to have to share this space with people who are obviously...
The woman understander has logged on. He's logged on, people. He is logged on. My white knight here to protect me from trans women who have never terrorized me or scared me literally ever. The only thing I don't like about this is that, well, actually the stalls are fully closed, so I don't have a problem with this. I don't really like the idea of like just having a camera in a bathroom in general, but it looks like this is broken up into like single door stalls. And this could very easily just be like a, what's it called? A gender neutral bathroom. There are a lot of like gender neutral bathrooms, especially in other countries and in like airports, where it looks like this, where you walk in and the sinks are all shared, but each bathroom is like a stall that has like a door that closes and it's fully covered. I don't care.
Biological man.
Oh, I go where I please. I will continue to go into women's restrooms, women's locker.
Oh my God. Filming in the women's bathroom. And I can't imagine how unnerving it must be for women.
I want to give an apology to a lot of you guys that, some of you guys Arabs, maybe, Indian, South American, Hispanic somehow, Asian. I don't know why all of us white people keep doing this shit. Like we can't have any of those white people rallies anymore. Like that never turns out very.
My whole life, I've wanted people to be able to like recognize or make the distinction between Arab people and Hispanic people. And I feel like for a lot of my life, I've been misracialed, misgendered, whatever you would use, as being Hispanic. And when you tell people you're from like an Arab nation, they're like, so like, what is that? What would you call that? And it's like being Arab. They're like, oh, okay. Miss Rachel. Yeah, I was Miss Rachel. And now I'm like, I don't like that I was listed at all, honestly. Like, I hated that. I hated being addressed in that context. Don't use other groups of people to defend your transphobia, dude. Stop.
Very good, right? So we can never come together and talk about this. But like, I don't know why we do this shit. It's this is not me, okay? Like, this is not me. White guilt from this? Yeah, this is, see, you talk about white guilt, not slavery. That shit happened a long time. This is it. This is it. It's so fucking weird, man. Guilt over the sins of the past? Yeah, this is what I have white guilt over. Holy fuck. A bunch of white people going to restaurants and harassing minority ESL service workers for not using the right gender. Holy fuck, how obnoxious.
I don't think I can finish this video. I think it might kill me. I think it might be over for me. I can feel the mold, the fungus spreading to all the important parts of my brain. And I don't think I can finish this. We're only halfway through.
Women to have to share this space with people who are obviously biological men.
Oh, I go where I please.
That train wreck. Thank you for the 5 gifts. Thank you. Catboy Collector, thank you for the year. Aww.
I will continue to go into women's restrooms, women's locker rooms, women's spaces because I am.
I don't care. I don't care. I don't care. Man, again, I don't know. Maybe I'm brain broken. I just don't give a fuck. Like, I literally, as a cis woman, I have never given a fuck about trans women ever using the bathroom. And maybe it's like I had this moment as a youngin'. I went to a convention as a kid when I was like 16. I went to a convention and the line in the bathroom, well, I guess I might have been like 17. Maybe I was 18. I don't know. But I think I was 17. And the line to the women's bathroom was so long. And I had to pee so bad. There were, I'm not joking, at least 10, 15 women in front of me. And I was like, I gotta go. And I was like, I don't give a fuck. I'm using the men's restroom. And I walked into the men's restroom. I didn't give a fuck. I was like, I'm going to go to the stall. I'm walking straight over. I'm pissing and I'm getting out. All right. I have to pee. I have to pee now. And then my life,
I have 13 months of subtime.
Something in my brain.
I haven't even known about your streams for that long.
Thanks. Gingerbread fetus. And then you're 13 months. And something in my mind changed in that moment. I was like, actually, go piss, girl. And from now on, like I do that all the time. I understand that that's a privilege that I as a woman have going into the men's restroom, but I do it in other places as well. Because there have been so many times where it's like the line is so long for the women's restroom. It is literally like 5, 10, 15 women. And there's no wait for the men's. None. There is no wait for the men's. And again, this is a privilege that I have as a woman because I think the other way around, a really giant dude walking into a men's restroom feels a little bit different. Of course, I get that. I understand that. I respect that. And guess what? I was in the bathroom with some men. And guess what? It was fine. It was fine because everyone in there is just there so they can piss or so they can shit and so they can get the fuck out. If anything, the only reason I have felt bad is because on more than one occasion, a dude has walked in as I'm like washing my hands and then they walk back out because they're like, oh, and then they walk back in and I'm like, sorry, I really had to pee. And I'm like, sorry to give you psychic damage. The line was really long. I had to pee. Sorry, I'm heading out. All right. It's literally just another room. You have a separate stall. I don't know if this is like a European thing or like this is an American prudish thing. People just want to go pee. They just want to go pee real bad. Or sometimes they want to shit. I don't care. I have long hair and I've had guys do the same thing. That's hilarious. That's really funny. It's this gross thing where anyone outside of heteronormativity is like basically automatically a fetish and people being horny using a toilet is not sexual. Like, what the fuck? Yeah, but like, again, maybe I'm just woke because years ago, like literally years ago, the idea of gender neutral bathrooms is I've always been on board for it because it just makes more sense. It's just equality, okay? That was the feminist in me. I was like, it's not fair. Those stalls are literally never being used. You should just have a room for urinals, okay? Literally a room with urinals and sinks. And then the rest of it should be shared bathrooms where like there's a door, floor to ceiling. That's the fairest thing. Men should have to wait just as long as women wait. Sorry. That's true equality. All right? True equality. Denims is coming to redistribute bathroom stalls. I am! I'm tired of waiting on these lines. Nah, now you're encroaching on my rights to piss fast. No, I'm saying you can just set up a urinal room. Like the bathrooms currently, the way that they're set up, I'll do a little picture. Okay, because I get it. I respect it. I do. And if you're there just to piss and you're going to be speedy about it, honestly, I respect it. Okay. But there should be like normally how they look, normally how bathrooms look. Here will be the women's bathroom. Okay. And here's the men's bathroom. All right. And the men's bathroom will have like the same number of stalls. Okay. And let's just pretend like the sink is here. This is the sink. And then they'll also have like the urinal section, right? In like the men's bathroom. As I've said before, I've gotten bored of waiting. And I've used the men's bathrooms before, so I know what they look like. And I just think the fairest thing would be to create gender neutral bathrooms where like ceiling to floor stalls, okay, sinks on both sides, door, and then a separate room that's just the urinal room, okay? And then sinks over here. So if this is the piss room, this is the shit room. How embarrassing to be seen walking into the shit room. Sorry, that's just the rule, man. I'm sorry. It's for the greater good. It's for the greater good. Anyways, I just don't understand, like, the purity, man. I just don't get it. What about us shy pissers out there? Then go to the shit room. No one needs to know. I have no problem with this, but does this really solve the problem? Then you have men who have to poop using the few stalls that women need to already to pee. No, because there would be a net surplus of bathrooms for women in totality. Get rid of the sink. No, you disgusting fucking animal. Dude, I just want to say, all the men in here who've never been into the women's restroom, it's very cute. I'm just telling you, as someone who's waited on these lines, there'll be like, I've counted. It'll be like 10 women, okay? No one is waiting in here. No one's waiting in there. And there's 5 restrooms. There's 5 stalls in both, okay? If you distributed these, this line would be way shorter. How about a piss room each and then a poop hall? All right? This exists at the Seattle airport. It's a goat. Yeah, and like, I just want you guys to know there are worse things than piss and poop. Dare I inform you all of the torments of the women's bathroom? Let me just be clear. The only reason bathrooms are gross is because they don't get cleaned enough. That's it. That's the only in all of the instances that I've been in the women's bathrooms are almost always in the same quality that the men's bathroom is in. It generally smells exactly the same in both. In the really nice women's bathroom, it's as nice as it is in the men's bathroom. When it's really bad in the women's bathrooms, it's just as bad as in the men's bathroom. There is this, you know what? I will inform you all. For the uninformed, I don't know who invented this thing, who invented this diabolical contraption. Nah, men are gross, motherfuckers pee everywhere. That pisses on the toilet seats in the women's bathroom too. Okay? It's in there too. Anyways, there are these terrible contraptions that you're supposed to use for your period. And it's this box that doesn't open. You have to apply 10,000 tons of force to open this box. I don't know what they're making these boxes out of. I don't understand the quality of the steel in these springs that they're creating. But you have to apply so much pressure to open this stupid fucking box. And you know what happens? Most of these fuckers don't put their shit in there because they can't fucking open it. And so they just like, they start opening it and then it's almost like they're using it as a door stopper. They'll use like, don't get too squeamish on me, a tampon as like a door stopper for the fucking box. And it's like, dude, this is disgusting. Like, this is actually disgusting. Or worse, they just don't even bother. They just leave them on the floor. And I'm like, what is happening? Like, what is going on in my life that I am in this situation right now? Why is this happening? Were you people raised in barns? Why? Okay, that's all I want to say. I was a janitor for years. I can confirm 100% true. I've had to clean those boxes when I worked at a grocery store. They were awful. Basically, what I'm saying is grow the fuck up, okay? Anyone here who hasn't experienced it, grow up, pussy. I have seen horrors you will never witness. You should connect the piss and the shit room so you need less space for the sinks. Oh, wait, you're right. That's good thinking. Oh, I get it. So like you would make it so that there's one entrance to the piss and shit room. So you can so then there's no embarrassment that you're entering the poop room. And then there'd be a separate door that leads you to the piss room. Oh, I like it. We're thinking. Wait. We're thinking. We're cooking. We're frying. We're surrounded by geniuses. True. Separate door for poop room because of the smell. I think you're right, actually. You would need like, maybe this, I do like the bathrooms where the sinks are a little bit farther from the stalls. I do like that. Okay. Let's watch a little bit more. I don't know how much of this I can manage. I'm really getting brutalized by this video. I hate the woman understanders that have never spoken to a woman ever being like, I know what's oppressing women. It's like, no, you don't. Because I haven't mentioned you once talking about the boxes that never open in the women's stalls.
Woman, whether you like it or not, and there's nothing you can do about it. I go where I please. And so far, nobody's had the guts to even try and stop me.
No one has tried to...
So you're saying that they're intimidated by you and this is a good thing? Like, what's...
I think transphobes should be intimidated, to be honest. I think it's...
the logic here?
This is so soy right, dude.
They don't have the guts to try and stop me. So they would, but they're afraid. Okay, so you're going into women's bathrooms and making women afraid?
No, he's talking about... Why is Asmongold talking about... the person in the video is obviously talking about making transphobes afraid. Some places make men uncomfortable by having a piss trough instead of urinals at Denims. I want you to know, I've heard of the legendary piss trough, and I've yet to see it. And I just want to say, that's misandrist. That's actually misandry. Most of the time, I feel like I see fucking losers on the internet be like, it's misandry that I spent 2 seconds on my dating profile and I used the blurriest photo of myself and my bio says I like having fun and I didn't get matched. I'm like, that's not misandry. You're just lazy and you want to blame other people for your fucking problems. The piss trough, that's misandrist. I don't like the piss trough. No, dude, no. The splash danger zone of the piss trough. It is efficient, though. Sometimes efficient isn't always better. If I could use a urinal, I would not want to use a piss trough. Maybe that's just me. I don't like it. I don't like that idea. I don't like any part of it. Ugh. Real pissers think it rocks. Damn. You can't speak on this? You know what? Honestly, you're right. I can't. I can't use the piss trough. Maybe if I tried really hard, if I really believed in myself, I could do it. But no, I've never used one. So maybe you guys are right. Maybe the piss trough enjoyers are the truthers. Maybe you guys are actually the truthers. I feel like the splash zone will be bad. Anyways.
And this is somehow good?
The poop trough. Stop. Stop. No.
Stop you because it's a bunch of women who have like half your strength and they don't want to risk you being a psycho.
They're talking about transphobes, you fucking idiots. Oh my God.
Who will violently beat them if they speak up about you using the women's bathroom.
Exactly.
You're gonna give me my fucking money back.
Excuse me, sir. There's a young man in here. And your wife
Bringing back this video from the What is a Woman documentary. This is what we're doing.
Excuse me, it's ma'am. It is ma'am.
Low-key, that's like, I love this video. She's so based. I want to be her, dude. Low-key.
They aren't protesting because they're afraid.
What is that, a GameStop crash out? Yeah, this is actually a crash out at a GameStop. Holy fuck. I never saw this.
They aren't protesting because they're afraid. And what really should happen is that people should just stop going to places with mixed bathrooms.
Yeah.
Oh, and speaking of borderline predator behavior, Tino loves to go to Disneyland to explain how transgender surgery works with kids in the background and child-friendly metaphors.
Last summer, I got my cake pops removed, and the plan up until recently was to get my marshmallow wand reconfigured into a marshmallow tunnel. The outside of the wand is what becomes the inside of
the final boss of moral outrage. You set up, not bad word, and kids were around. This is the most soy right thing I've ever seen in my life.
This just is so bad, bro.
What I don't understand is why can't we just call the video cringe? Because that would be true. This is cringe. I'm just saying. Listen, girl, you're posting cringe on the internet, okay? I don't know what audience this is supposed to be for. This is cringy. This is definitely cringy. But that's just kind of also part of being like a Disney adult. Like you are cringe inherently for being a Disney adult. The thing is being cringe is not illegal. Like that's just kind of like, this is not so stupid. This outrage is so dumb. What's the concern? A child is going to hear this woman's talk about removing the marshmallow stick into a marshmallow tunnel. And they're going to be like, I need to get transgender surgery right now. Like what are we talking about here?
This is so bad. Like, why do you do this? I don't know why people do this shit. Like, I wonder if they, I genuinely
love all the people in admin's chat writing disgusting, and this is the guy that they're fucking watching.
I wonder if they understand
like,
how
this
much.
This woman speaking in like a childish manner about like trans surgery, and people are like, "This is so I can't watch this. I can't watch this." And then they hear Asmon talking about like the roaches crawling into his penis, and they're like, based.
Damage they're doing and they don't care? Or they're just doing it because they're that full of themselves? I'm really curious, actually.
The tunnel.
This person needs to be put on a
Plantifa, I respect it. You need to do that.
Watch list. I think no one would be shocked if there are some skeletons in Tino's closet. These topics aren't appropriate for young kids.
See, like, I've never been the kind of person, and I don't like the language that people that are trans, and I don't play into the language that people that are trans are like a higher probability of having any sort of like sexual issues or whatever. I've never played into that, and I never will, because I think it's a stereotype and it's a demographic, and each person should be treated equally, right? And they shouldn't be like you shouldn't be given the original sin by the nature of your identification or a group that you belong to, and then be assigned guilt because of that. I don't think that's
Him never putting deodorant on is not that disgusting. Wasn't there literally a clip of him saying, I don't need to put deodorant on because I'm not fat? I will say, I'm just going to assume English not first language, spelling deodorant that way. English is a fucking dog shit language, okay? Lord, give me strength, please.
fair. But at the same time, like going to Disneyland, and while there are children present, explaining in metaphors like cock and balls surgery, this is lewd behavior. It's lewd and inappropriate behavior. Really, like that's really all there. Yeah, it's weird.
Hi friends! Today we're going to talk about something super important. What it means to be transgender. It's a big word, but I promise that it's easy to understand. Ready to learn? The first thing I want you to do is close your eyes. Now think, do you feel like a boy, a girl, or a
cringe, dude? Why can't we just make fun of her for being cringe? I don't understand. I don't get it. I really just don't get it. I just don't get it.
little bit of both?
For those of you who don't know what's going on, this is
Baby Learning with Miss Rachel, baby songs, speech, and sign language for babies, toddler learning videos.
Asmongold's like, oh, I need these videos. I've been looking for content like this for myself.
Oh no.
Of Miss Rachel, who is a very popular creator for very young kids. A friend of mine has a 2-year-old, and I caught an episode while he was visiting where she was teaching toddlers how to say no, so that was great. Well, maybe it's annoying to parents, but probably very useful if they ever meet someone like Lily Tino. And I'm not just making allegations here. Tino literally has an OnlyFans account and advertises that account.
Oh, man.
I like the idea of like a 3-year-old, like an iPad baby on their iPad, and they're watching a video of Lily, whatever her name is, and they're like, I'm gonna go to the OnlyFans. And then this 3-year-old is gonna crawl, walk on over to their mom's wallet, take the card out, enter the information perfectly. Like, I love the universe that these people live in.
This is
It's
just
amazing.
this is so weird. This is so weird. Are you sure you don't want to rethink the previous statement? No, I'm not going to rethink it, because I know multiple trans people that don't do this weird fucking creepy bullshit. They're not predators. They don't act like this at all. And I don't think it's fair to lump them up with this fucking weirdo. This self-absorbed, narcissistic, attention-starved, obnoxious, abusive fucking weirdo. Absolutely not. But and the problem is that my perspective on this is the minority perspective. I realize that the way that I see this is not the way that most people see this. And when average people see this, it makes them hate trans people. That's what I think is so sad about it.
In the same area where the videos
Massive
targeted at
splash
children
damage?
can be
Yeah.
viewed. How is this not a crime? Can you see why people are mad now? Stuff like this happens over and over again, and this information gets pushed on younger and younger people way before it's age appropriate.
Yep.
And now
Is this manufacturing consent? Yeah. Yeah. Guys. Me when I'm a cis white man with the minority perspective. My minority perspective is one trans person doing something doesn't make me hate trans people. And then all of his chat being like, I hate trans people. It's like, do you guys not see that, like, he's actively doing transphobia? Like, I don't, what? Wouldn't the brave opinion there be to say, you shouldn't hate trans people for this one person doing this thing? It's not a brave opinion to say, I'm a smart guy. I don't hate trans people. It's showing my age. This is giving Sonny Chu vibes. Why must people like Roach King be like this? Yeah. I just like that his head would explode into pieces if someone suggested people should hate men for all the things that they've done. Can you imagine if I went on my stream and I said, see, I have the minority position in this. Most people would see Asmongold and they'd start hating men. Not me, though. Yeah. Mm-hmm. It's not brave. That's just you saying you don't make a generalization. What the hell? The dark humor enjoyers are funny when you make a joke about white men. Yeah. Oh my god, dude. He's giving a base take. That's what he's saying. Yeah, so what's wrong with what he said? It seems genuine to me. Well, the problem with what he's saying is that he's not actively trying to dissuade people from engaging in transphobic opinions. He can see that his chat is all saying, not all, a lot of his chat is saying, like, it does, and I'm transphobic, and these people are a threat to my children, and blah, blah, blah. He doesn't do anything to try and, like, mitigate that, to try and help this thing. He's just doing it so he can morally grandstand and virtue signal that he is the true centrist with all the right opinions, instead of trying to make the world a better place and like stand by his values and try and convince people, which is difficult. Like, you shouldn't hate all trans people just because this one person's like, I think this one person's a freak. He doesn't do that. He's just like, I'm the smart one, which is just fucking stupid. Like, and then he's also blaming transphobia on trans people instead of, I don't know, blaming transphobia on the people that are being transphobic, that have been transphobic long before that TikToker made a TikTok. This is my favorite type of chatter. They come in every once in a while. I love you. You hate him for doing what you do? You think I don't argue with my audience and my audience doesn't actively argue with me every time I make any opinion ever? I can give the most lukewarm opinion and there's always like 10 fuckheads that are like, Denim, you're wrong. Let me explain to you why. First of all, the premise is already flawed. Honestly, it's disgusting that you would even push some type of neoliberal propaganda like this to begin. I can't believe it. Second, you know how much shit I'm eating from my fucking audience every day that I go live, okay? And I'm like, guys, wait, please stop. Ugh. Please. No, I like arguing, unfortunately. I can pretend like I don't like it, but I do like it. I like it when chat argues. I like it when I say something and chat's like, they disagree with me. No, you don't. Wait, it can piss me off and I can like it, right? Like, you can like King Joffrey as a character and also he can make you mad, right? Sorry, you can like the addition of King Joffrey as a character, but also hate the character, right? I like the addition of the shitters that make me build better arguments, that make me argue what I want to argue better. And I respect it. But also, I hate it because it pisses me off and it's so annoying. So, I agree and disagree entirely. Excellent. Perfect. Just what I like to see. Okay, guys, I'm going to be honest. I can't finish this video. I can't. I just can't do it. I just can't do it. It's like peak manufacturing consent. You're presupposing that the movement is failing, which is just inaccurate. Like, arguably right before Trump was the best time for queer people to be alive in the United States, right before multiple rollbacks of policies and introductions of policies. But also, generally, people become more progressive over time. Now, more right-wing men have come around. There's been a higher percentage of right-wing men who believe sexist things, but a lot of that has to do with like the media landscape and how we didn't anticipate that the internet would become the shithole that it is now. Not to mention the lack of community with people and the lack of like walkable cities, the lack of like friends, family, people that like, there's that one fucking Pew Research poll or whatever that shows that like most people nowadays don't even have, they have like one friend. And like you go back a couple decades and people had at least 3 friends usually. Like it's just overall people are less connected and more isolated than they've ever been before, which obviously exacerbates all social issues. If you've never spoken to other people, of course you can't empathize with them. So it has a lot more to do with the fact that all these other things in our social space have declined and our living conditions are getting worse. And capitalism is exacerbating it is the problem. Let me be clear. Lack of third spaces, yeah, all these other things as well. American individualism, American exceptionalism, lack of infrastructure, all these things, right? Social alienation and material conditions, correct. And those are way more likely to be causing the issues that we see today in society. And this is just making that like worse, right? Like it's way more beneficial to just have a video that's like, you should go talk to one trans person or more. And you'll have a way better idea of what trans people are like and what the trans experience looks like than watching this fucking video. Because that's not why these things are failing. That's just not. They're failing for the same reason that, like, we hate immigrants in this country. You haven't spoken to others, you can't empathize with them as well, but you can also get clarity and logic when your vision isn't clouded by emotions. It's actually tied with reality. Yep, totally agree with you. As a husband, can I please get some advice on how to ask a woman I meet what brand or where they got an item of clothing because I think my wife would like and or look good in it because I have a dumb guy brain and don't know the brands myself? like your top, for example. Well, I do almost all my shopping with thrifting. Thrifting is where I get most of my clothes. But I would say you could just like approach someone and be like, hey, I just want to say I love your outfit. Like, I'm married. I think my wife would love something like that. Could you tell me where you got that? I feel like there's no, yeah, I love your top and I'd love to buy one for my wife if you can get, like, I don't see an instance where a woman would be upset about that. Probably rare. Okay. But guys, I'm gonna be getting brutalized. Nice drip. I want to put my hot wife in it. Don't do that. Yeah, don't do that. That's endearing. You can do that when your wife is watching, but like, don't do that.